Hello students, welcome to my YouTube channel. Here I re-explain chapter 1, full chapter 1. Already in the online class, in the first online class, I have explained this chapter. Those who have not attended that online class, you can listen to this video. You will be able to listen what I have explained there in online. The same explanation is given here. And those who have watched the online class, they can also see this and watch this video. Now let me start more about computer chapter 1. First is, what is a computer? Now you all know that a computer is just an electronic machine. And in this electronic machine, with the help of the input devices, we feed some data into the computer. Then the computer processes it and finally we get a result. So the computer stores first it accepts the information, stores it until it is not deleted, then process the information and finally gives us the result. Now the computer has large storage and therefore it can process data at very high speed. But remember children, that a computer cannot think of its own. It cannot make any decisions of its own. It is us, we the users, decides what we want the computer to do for us. And as per our need and requirement, we ask the computer to solve it. Then in page 5, you have the quick tip. Computer stands for Common Oriented Machine, particularly used for trade education research. This full form you have to learn and memorize. Then in the second paragraph of page 5, you have the description of hardware and software. Hardware and software are the two parts of a computer system. Hardware, is the physical components that we can touch and feel, like the monitor, the keyboard. This we can touch and see. So these are the physical components externally attached. So they are called the hardware. And software is a set of instruction or programs that are fed into the computer. But remember, without software, computer cannot run. Because if there is no software, then only the hardwares will be there and we can just touch and feel but cannot work on it. So we need software to work in computer. Now let us move to page 6. On page 6, you find categories of computer. Now based on the different shapes and sizes and capacities, computers are categorized into 4. The first one is microcomputer, then mini computer, then comes mainframe computers, and finally comes the supercomputers. Then let us focus on microcomputer. Now this microcomputers are desktop or laptops that we use personally for our own use. And what is the purpose? The general usage is like entertainment, like we sometimes can watch movie, can listen to music, play games. So these are the entertainment purpose. And then obviously for education purpose, for writing, for typing, for practicing anything, for education purpose, for doing some projects and all, and then other basic work purpose. And what are the manufacturing company names? Dell, Apple, Samsung, Sony, Toshiba. These are very common names and I think you all know this company. And these microcomputers are widely used and the fastest growing computers because these are not very expensive. Personally, we can buy, we can purchase, keep it in our home or office for our personal use. Then there is Personal Digital Assistant. This full form also you have to learn. PDA, Personal Digital Assistant. Or even the smartphones, the tablets that we use today, they are all types of microcomputers because we are personally, individually using them. Okay. So if a question is asked like this, that which type of computer we use for personal use, it is microcomputer. Or if it is asked that laptop is a type of dash computer, so you have to write microcomputer. If it is asked that name two companies or name one companies for which microcomputers are used, Then you can write any of the companies like Dell, Apple, Samsung, Sony, Toshiba, any two or any one, whatever is asked in the question, you can reply, you can answer in that way. Then you have the quick tip that this term microcomputer coined in the year 1970, and microcomputer is the term used only for the personal computers. Then on page 6 you see there are pictures of various types of microcomputer. You can see the laptop, you can see smartphones, desktops and all this. Next, on page 7, let's move to the topic mini computer. Now these mini computers are used for small business and firms. Mini computers are powerful than these microcomputers. So many users can use it together. And these mini computers are also called mid-range computers. These computers are not designed for a single user. So unlike microcomputer, mini computers are used for many people, not for a single user. Try to understand the difference. Mini computers are not personally used, rather they are used for small business, firms or organization. They are powerful than the microcomputers and they are called mid-range computers. So if it is asked, which type of computer is known as mid-range computers? Your answer will be mini computer. Or if it is a little twisted, mini computers are also known as dash. You have to write the answer mid-range computers. So please children, read the chapter thoroughly. This type of inside questions may come. Now this mini computers are used for monitoring certain production process. Production means suppose this mini computer is used in a factory, in an industry. So whatever products are produced, manufactured, to keep a record of all such things, this mini computer can be used. They have great storage capacity, larger memories, as memories are associated for storage. So in compared to microcomputers, they possess great storage capacity and large memories. And therefore, they can handle more input-output devices. So, if it is asked which type of computers are used for small business firms, your answer will be mini computer. Then there are popular mini computers example. K202, Texas Instrument TI-990, SDS-92, IBM mid-range computers. Now if it is asked, give one example of mini computer. So you can write any one of these 4 examples, or if it is given like this, K202 is an example of dash. So you have to write mini computer as your answer. I hope you understood how you have to read the chapter and prepare. Then on figure 1.3 you have the picture of mini computer which you can see in your own book and see how big it is. It is not like this microcomputers which are very small and can be handled easily, and it can be carried also anywhere. Portable. Portable means which we can carry. But see, these things are comparatively bigger in size and we have to keep it in a fixed place, not that we can move it anywhere we want or we like. Let's shift to page 8 of your book. See the topic mainframes. Mainframe computers are designed to handle huge volumes of data and information. They can even support more than 100 users at the same time. So see, multiple user can use this computer. These are very big things, very large and expensive. Expensive means costly. You need to spend lot of money for having these mainframes, and generally at home we don't have this mainframe computers because at home together we don't live together 100 people. No home you will find this kind of thing. Personally we use the computer, individually we use, so we keep microcomputers, not mainframes at home. So where will you find this mainframe computers? See, mostly used in big hospitals, airlines and banks, because here so many customers are there, so many people are dealing with this mainframe computer and they have great processing speed. That means they can process any data and show the result in high speed, very fast they do the work, and they have very large capacity and memory if you compare it to mini computers. So first one was microcomputer, then was mini computer, and even better than mini computer are this mainframe computers. And see their speed, billions of instructions per second. So can you imagine so fast they work? So if it is asked which type of computer is used in big hospitals and airlines, the answer will be mainframes. So in this way you have to prepare. Next you see the chief difference between a supercomputer and a mainframe is that a supercomputer channels all its power into executing a few programs as fast as possible, whereas a mainframe uses its power to execute many programs concurrently. Next is supercomputer. Supercomputer are the biggest in size. These are the fastest and the most expensive computers, and they perform at tremendous speed. What is the speed? Trillions of instructions per second. So even in greater speed than the mainframe, supercomputers work. And they are the biggest in size, they are the fastest and the most expensive. They are used for some specific purpose, specialized purpose, like research and exploration. You know all about NASA, National Aeronautics and Space Administration. This full form you have to learn and be correct while writing the spellings. Learn the spellings well. Now see, these are the fastest and the expensive one, as I have already said, and used for research and exploration purpose like launching of the space shuttles for space exploration and all. And it can be accommodated in large air-conditioned rooms. That means you need large space and those rooms must be air-conditioned. Otherwise, these computers will not be able to operate or function properly. Then in the quick tip box, you have the Seymour Cray is known as the father of supercomputer. So if it is asked who is the father of supercomputer, it is Seymour Cray. What is the first supercomputer design? What is the model? CDC 6600. In which year? 1964. So these data you have to memorize. Next you see Vijay Pandurang Bhatkar. He is known as the father of supercomputer in India. So if in a question you find this mention of in India, who is the father of supercomputer in India, then your answer will be Vijay Pandurang Bhatkar. Or if it is generally asked, who is the father of computer, then your answer will be Seymour Cray. Learn the spelling well. Next, supercomputer Param 8000. This is the model which was developed in India, launched in India on July 1st, 1991. And which organization made this? It is Center for Development of Advanced Computing, CDAC. This CDAC full form also you have to learn. Center for Development of Advanced Computing. So Param 8000 is the model which was developed in India for the first time. This is the India's first supercomputer and it was launched in the year 1991. Then comes Pratyush. Pratyush is currently the fastest supercomputer in India. So currently Pratyush is the fastest supercomputer and its calculation speed is 6.8 petaflops. Petaflops is a unit of measurement of speed of computers. So supercomputer which is currently the fastest one running in India is this Pratyush and it has a calculation speed of 6.8 petaflops. It is currently installed where? Where will you find this Pratyush installed in India? Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology. That means they deal with the study of climates, weather conditions and all. China's Sanwei Taihulite is currently the fastest supercomputer in the world with clock speed reaching up to 93 petaflops. You see in India what we have is 6.8 petaflops. But in the world, the fastest supercomputer is manufactured by China and the name is Sanwei Taihulite and its speed is 93 petaflops. So if it is asked which is the world's fastest supercomputer, answer will be China's Sanwei Taihulite. If it is asked the fastest supercomputer in India, currently Pratyush. If it is asked the first supercomputer designed by India, it is Param 8000. So be very specific, try to understand the data and memorize it in this way. Now let us move to page 9. There is a picture of the Indian supercomputer Pratyush, which is installed at Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology. Just now you all have read. Now it can be concluded that the lines of demarcation, that means the features by which we try to separate the different categories of computers, are very, very thin. Almost no difference. But only in speed and capacity and memory, supercomputers are even better than mainframes. Mainframes are better than mini computers, and mini computers are better than microcomputers. With large storage, they work with great speed. So only these things matter. But the other concepts remain same. Then you have the quick recap on page 9, and this quick recap will also continue on page 10. Now quick recap, please read, because few short questions can be given. I am not saying that you have to learn, but read them 3, 4, 5, 6 times so that you know all the things. Like a computer system consists of 2 parts, dash and dash. So if you read this quick recaps, you will be able to write hardware and software. Quick recap, point wise I am not explaining you, because it is given from the chapter only. Whatever points, whatever things you all have read and I have explained in this chapter, the same thing you will find in quick recap. But I am telling you all to read inside the chapter thoroughly and this quick recaps also, because this kind of fill in the blanks or short questions may come. Next page also there are a few quick recap, like so these things, yeah, please learn. And then there is the exercise earlier in Campus Care. I have sent you the attachment. Please see and do it from there. And name the following number C4, currently the fastest supercomputer in the world. The answer is China Sunway Taihulite. Please write this answer only. Anyways children, there I put an end to the chapter. Thank you for watching the video. Listen it and try to understand well. Thank you once again.